Welcome.
Hello and welcome to the Everything Podcast. I am your host, Chuck Manity. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about Love, Death and Robots episode 3, which is called The Witness. So this was actually aired on March 15th, 2009 with a runtime of 12 minutes. Actually got a good rating on IMDb, 7.8 out of 10 with 22,000 people obviously chiming in there, so that's a great rating. So basically the synopsis of this is: after seeing a brutal murder, a woman flees from the killer through the streets of a surreal city. So the directors are Gabriella Piniccioli and then Alberto Mielgo, and then the writers are Alberto Mielgo and Tim Miller. The stars of the show, so when I say stars, the voice actors, is Emily O'Brien as the woman, Ben Sullivan as the man, Matthew Yanking as host, Nolan North as Vladimir, and Anastasia Foster as the police officer. So yeah, that's basically it. And just so you know, this episode won 3 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Individual in Animation, Production Design, Outstanding Individual in Animation, and Character Animation, and Outstanding Short Form Animated Program. So very, very good ratings and very, very good show. So without any further ado, before we get into that, my opinion on this episode is spine chilling. It is awesome. And it's definitely in typical Love, Death and Robots fashion, where they pull the rug from underneath you when you think you know what's going on. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. It opens with the Netflix logo and then the title sequence, which, as I always like to say, is really, really good. It's basic, but it just has a really cool aesthetic to it. It opens up with the woman, and she's busy putting on makeup, and you get flashbacks of what looks like an assault on someone, a violent assault. There's shots of what the city looks like, and obviously it's not based on a real city, but it is absolutely huge. You see just towering buildings and so on that are floors and floors high. It's unreal, but it looks amazing. The lady then hears something and then looks to her right, and then you can see her reflection. She's obviously a bit disturbed about what she's just heard. The sound obviously frightens her a little bit just before she turns to the right, actually, and that makes her put on her lipstick a little bit funny, so it wipes all across her face because she got a fright. She hears some dogs barking and all this ruckus going outside, and that makes her go to a window and open up her curtains just to investigate further what she's actually hearing. In the building just opposite her, she now officially witnesses a murder, and the person that is quote-unquote murdering someone has now seen her, and they lock eyes. What is quite strange is that when he looks down at the victim, it looks exactly the same as the lady that he's looking at across buildings. So now we're obviously looking at it from his perspective, but when he looks down, he sees the lady, and the person that is obviously looking at him, that has witnessed this murder, they have the same faces. She proceeds to run down her stairs, and as she gets to the bottom of the road, he sees her from the top of his balcony, which is about 5 or 6 floors up. He then proceeds to start chasing her, and he starts running down the stairs, obviously to pursue her. She then jumps into a cab, and then tries to duck down, so he obviously can't see her. The cab drives away, so he hasn't caught her. But then she proceeds to phone the police and then says that he was in the Blue Harrington. She's obviously not sure what she has seen or what floor he was on, but she assumes it's at about floor 3, which I don't think is correct, to be honest. It looked a lot higher, and you could see quite a few floors below where he was looking at her initially when he started to chase her. So she phoned the police, and now she's still in the cab. She then makes another phone call from the cab, and it's to her friend Vladimir, but she gets his voicemail, and then she just basically begs to say, please be there, please be there. So it's obviously en route to where she is. But as she says that, the cab that pulls up next to her has the killer in it. The killer sees her from the cab, but she does not see him. Then you get this really, really cool shot with all these lights on the buildings and all that, and you can actually see the buildings are hundreds of floors high. It's basically the Dubai building all over the place. She then goes up these stairs and then meets a guy at the door who is very oddly dressed, but it's what looks like a sort of an adult dancing venue, let's say. And the guy's asking her why she's late, and she said that she's witnessed a murder. He obviously doesn't believe her. He's like, you're looking for any excuse, but cool, whatever, go get ready to dance. So I assume that she's some form of exotic dancer. The killer is actually, as she goes in, she's obviously getting ready, but he comes up the stairs because he's now found her and has followed her, of course. And he runs into the weirdly dressed man, and this guy asks if he'd like to obviously have some people dance for him or whatever the case is. So this guy just basically pulls him into the club, and the killer's now in the club sitting on the chair there, and obviously looking for the person that now has witnessed the murder that he's committed. Yeah, so with the killer being on the chair, you obviously now get to see the aesthetic of this club, and there is a whole bunch of people in different types of bondage outfits. So that's obviously the type of place that this is. So at exactly the same time, the killer is on the couch getting a dance from somebody, and then the lady who's obviously being pursued is performing as well. She then notices that he's in the club, and obviously gets a huge fright and starts to run for her life. She runs to what looks like it could be Vladimir's office, and then she does find herself a gun in that office, so she takes it and puts it in her bag and continues to run away. The killer almost catches her as she goes down the steps, but she makes a break for it. She goes into a building, and it's what I assume to be her home, because she gets into one of the houses in this sort of apartment block type thing, and then she locks herself in there, and the killer is now pursuing her up. Obviously she stays on the second floor, or the first floor, I beg your pardon, and then she's actually just in her room basically freaking out because she can hear him outside her house. He manages to get inside her house, and he just basically says, hello, we just need to talk. Tells her to chill out, calm down. She then points the gun at him, and they have a little bit of a wrestle, and some shots are fired. So after the shots are fired, you do get a shot sort of like just outside where the room is, and there's a slight sliver through the door where you can kind of make out what's going on. But she survives the onslaught and obviously shoots him, and now he's dead on the floor. But you don't see this quite just yet, but you know, because obviously with the shots fired you see the blood on her face, and you know, okay, cool, she's made it and he hasn't. And then the twist. So basically what happens is you see his face, she's looking down at him, he's dead, and then you see now another person is looking at her that looks exactly like him, witnessing a murder, and it has the same face as the guy that's on the floor. So what it seems like, what I think it is they're stuck in some sort of weird time loop thing where they're basically just murdering each other and thinking that they're the good person running away, and so on and so forth. So she obviously now is going to pursue him, in effect. That you don't see this, but you get the gist of it. So now obviously she has just realized that this is what's happening, but the person now who's witnessed her murdering someone is obviously that person who is pursuing her. So this is just an endless loop of them basically chasing each other down and trying to obviously tell the next person that they're stuck in a time loop. So until some point where that person or one of them, listen, they're just going to be running around that same wheelhouse all the time. So pretty gnarly stuff. Typical Love, Death and Robots fashion, as I say. They've got all these intense stories, but it is a lot of fun. I'm sure you guys have seen it. If you haven't, please do watch it. Love, Death and Robots, I highly recommend it. But besides that, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please do put some comments in the bottom to say whether or not you liked the review, and also, of course, if you liked Love, Death and Robots, let us know in the comments below. But besides that, look out for Ben's reviews that he's going to be doing. He's going to be doing one on the Avengers comics, which I've said yesterday that I'm quite excited to see. There's also another one on The Boys, Season 4, and lots more content to look forward to. Other than that, again, hope you enjoyed today's episode, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.